The Lord doing all the exalting in the truth. And even Lord actually giving the good names. So the Lord is give you that good name in cities, in villages, in towns, and even, around the world, because Judith's name was a virtuous a woman serving Yahweh Shimoshai, having the fear Yahweh Shimoshai, and a widow, and hey, what she do? She killed the general and deliver Israel. So she name was a good name as precious ointment. So going down into verse 4, Baba Kusha.
Yeah, it say, but if any widow have children or nephews, let them learn first show pity let them learn first to show pity at home.
So that go back to you as a widow having your children, your husband die, you ought to teach them manners. You ought to bring up your children having full respect. Having full respect. Hey, shalom, good morning, good and these things. Can I get something, please, Baba Kusha? So it's like, to grow up your daughter as a virtuous woman, your nephew to have manners, to don't disobey their elders, So you growing up, your children, and even your niece and your nephew, under full obedience, making sure that they are disciplined. Go down into the word Pitiag, Babakusha. So you can see that they're being kind, they're being kind, and in order. Because now Israel supposed to be, the children of Israel supposed to be kind and in order. Go down and take that.
Kindness is in our heart.
The law of kindness is in our heart, talk about a little bit, a lot about Kusha. That's how the breeze, we see right now. So, when we doing the little videos, because we'll be doing our physical work, but yet we are putting our spiritual work. So we had a little breeze, so we covering up the phone. So if you have a breeze, and, just know, brothers, hey, we fighting the fight, because, hey, we subject to payments. Brothers fighting the fight. Some brothers down and out, and have bills to pay. Some brothers, don't have a place to stay, trying to build up and move in, a little ranch to get. And this, hey, brothers going through the chastisement, but we holding the faith. But our household had to be in order for everything to work out and have, because putting into budget in your household. A man of the Lord is to budget his household. He had to put with something for the rainy days. Even though we know that the Hawashai does provide for us, but yet we're using wisdom, knowing that, all right, I wouldn't have $1,000 and spend out the whole 1,000. I will spend out 800 and save 2. And knowing that, hey, if anything happens, I have 200 to back up. If the child gets sick and had to get any little thing, the Pennywise, wherever it is, you or in the drugstore, wherever it is, but we don't really believe in that drugstore anymore. We more deal with herbs, but what drawing is, any little thing require of what your kids want, you have that money put on to see about your children. All that is putting your house in order. So go ahead.
Yeah. It's the early 14th century, late 12th century. It's as a surname, mercy, tenderness.
So that tenderness, to be kind, pleasant, decent. Go ahead.
It's a from Old French pitié, pity, faith. It's a pity, compassion, from Latin, pitatem. It's a nominative. It's like it's a nominative. Pitas. It's a dutiful.
Christ, so duty. So this is your duty now as a widow, and it's like you just jump on the words, like you don't want to go down into the let's jump on the points now. Hey, Baba Kusha Tawara. So like about that and Aquats going back in the spirit and power. So it's a sense of duty. So you have a duty to you know, to make sure that them children them grow up right. That your daughters grow up as a virtuous woman as you. Your husband grow up as a king, making sure that he's a provider, going out and working and bringing forth bread to make sure that, well, bringing forth our income to get bread. And you know, as a widow, you understand, or as a virtuous woman, you ought to fetch that bread. Whatever your husband bring unto you, or if he's a widow, you know, and you know that you're not going on to no husband, or your husband living riches, because most of these widows is inherit all the benefits of their husband if they having any businesses or any riches they leave back, they will inherit it. So you using your inheritance and your whatever business they leave back, you making sure it run perfectly through the spirit and power of Hashem Yoshai. You ask Yahweh Hashem Yoshai to make your business prosper, so you could see about your children that you know your husband, who was a one who fear Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, leave back for her. So it come like, you know, you pray into Yahweh Hashem Yoshai and saying, Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, you know, my husband passed and gone. You could, you know, show mercy upon me and help me to keep this business running, so I could see about my kids, because I don't want to go on to no other husband, but serve you, Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, until my day that I go and back in the spiritual realm, because all the souls go back to the hands of Yahweh Hashem Yoshai. You know, so that how women supposed to be, you know. So jump back in the scripture. So going back into the book of 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 4. Continue, Babakusha.
Yeah, you can't say, but if any widow have children or nephews, let them learn first to show pity at home.
Right. And so going back into kindness, respect, you know, having been in you know, being in this faith, in this truth, you know, following the laws, and that going back into the laws, statutes and commandments of Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, you're growing them up in the laws, you're growing them up in the heritage, Jeremiah 17:4. You know, you're making sure that they grow up fearing Yahweh Hashem Yoshai and being, you know, kind and loving children, you know, and while they grow up in age, they become a virtuous woman, and a man become a righteous man. Go ahead.
It's and to requite their parents.
Right, so to requite go back to pay back. You know, to recompense. So because this so spiritual, because it's once a man and twice a baby. You know, so when you was a baby, your father, who's a man, working his butts off, paying bills, making sure you eat, because you go gaga in. So until you start to talk and reason with your father, he going on in age. So by the time your father is 40 and you become 40, your father is 80 years. He cannot really move and do nothing again. He can't wash his ass. You know? So he become a baby. So you know how to repay your father by seeing about him, making sure your wife cook, clean, you know, and even help, you know, help him move around. You know, you had to bathe him and help him, because he can't help himself. You know, even change his diapers. Let us show you once a man and twice a baby. You know, because when your father passed, and even in and it's so spiritual, because when he had age, he could be saying, you know, in his mind toward Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, that you give me a son who's a righteous man, who following your laws and repaying me by making sure that I go at peace. I ain't get no problem in his old age. I ain't falling long and nobody can pick me up, or he ain't put me in a home, you know, or he ain't make no other he ain't make no other family see about me and treat me bad and kick me and lash me and tell me I wouldn't and dead and just now and all these things. My time I work hard and I bring forth you as a man. You see about me and make me go at peace, because why? You please me whatever I wanted. You make sure and see about wherever I live, because when a father die, he leave his inheritance for his son. Because you become a man now, so you benefit of your father. So your father become a baby, so you ought to see about your father. Because when he was a baby, he see about you. So let's show you how everything is all spiritual. You know watch thing canal. So any brothers who in this truth and a man of the Lord, no matter your father's a wicked nigger, or whatever it is, you ought to require to repay your father and show tribute. He says, son, come at my papa door. Get by your father and pop that door. He says, son, help me cut the grass in the backyard. You ought to go and cut that grass in the backyard. Son, go and help me see about the boat. And make sure them boys don't come up from the sea. To make sure I help them selfish, whatever it is. You ought to do it. Because you repay your father because he worked hard. And make sure that you eat, you drink, you have clothes on your back, you have a roof over your head. You never live a beggar life. So go down and take that, Baba Kusha.
The scripture saying in the book of Sirach, it's 3 or 7. They talk about when a father going down in age, basically he goes senile. The scripture said that when you repay your father, basically you make an atonement for his sins and your name shall be remembered. You understand?
Yapa, and let me get a scripture as the spirit of power about Shimon Shai.
So you'll have joy at your own children.
Can you have joy, guy? Yapa, and it's like advice for yourself. Because it's gonna happen to you, you're gonna go down in age and your children don't wanna go and see about you. You understand? That is to show you how about Shimon Shai everything done decently and in an order.
Right about Howard in my camp, his father gone. He did for his father.
So the brother Howard, the other brother Howard from Trinidad West, his father is done right now and he's there for his father. So if today tomorrow his father go and go out in peace, knowing that his son was a righteous man and stood with him through thick and thin. So bring out that scripture and Brother Lamar could break it down through spirit and power.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 and verse 27. It says, honor thy father with thy whole heart and forget not the sorrows of thy mother.
The scripture said, honor thy father with thy whole heart. Your heart goes back to what? The Hebrew word love, which is your mind. You understand? That is mean what? You don't think evil of your father, whatever the case is. Which some women out here, basically, you know what they do? They actually provoke a man to both of them separate, and when they separate, and the man don't really want nothing to do with them, or he will try to still look after the child. She basically poisoned that child's mind against the father. You understand? This is where you have to hear two sides of our story now, and that is where judgment comes into place. But it says to honor thy father with your whole heart. Meaning what? You're thinking good about your father. It says balls bagging come out from the first place. He gave your mother was she womb didn't have no life until your father put life inside her she womb. You understand? Because your spirit dwells within the sperm.
This is the man who Yahweh Shimon Shai send you because Yahweh Shimon Shai control of all spirits. So Yahweh Shimon Shai send you back, through this man. So you have to show honor towards your father. That's how Yahweh Shai show honor towards Yahweh. So you go to mark in the scripture now, Babakusha, the Timothy. You get on these women and these men who don't want to work and see about their household, who want to be lazy and still leaning on mommy and daddy money and use that money of the Lord and serving their about Shimon Shai, and they want to get up and go and look for work. You depending on somebody income for the day. Get up and get it. That's what kings is do. We just build empires. Empires don't build us. We just build empires. Go ahead.
First Timothy 5 and back in verse 4, I was continuing. It says, it says, and to requite their parents.
Let's go into the meaning requite.
Yeah, can.
So you should have that You know, through the spirit and power about him, right? You know, it's a yapa thing to know that after repay your parents, you know, and you know, recompense. Boy, that.
You can require it to repay for for good or ill. See, it's basically to repay.
Can to go back into go on the next final you get no essence.
Yeah, you get the essence in it can.
Requite.
Can.
Requite. Etymology. From Middle English requiton, from Old French requitter. Verb. Requite. To return that has been given. To repay. To recompense. 1610.
Can.
Right, so so repay, to recompense, you know. So that just show you that when you're old man, you know, which is your father, you know, which down in age, you ought to repay him by seeing about him and make sure he go in peace. You know? So go ahead.
Yeah, can. It's and to requite their parents for that is good and acceptable before Yahweh.
Can't tell you what it is good and acceptable towards Yahweh about Shimon Shai. So it's pleased the Lord to see that you taking care of your parents.
Can.
You know? You taking care of your parents because they work their ass off and see about you when they was a man. Now you become a man, they become a baby. Going back to what I said earlier on, once a man, twice a baby.
Can.
You know, go ahead.
And that's the add too. This come like a law. It pleasing you about Shem Yoshai.
Can, it's a law.
You obey any law, statutes and commandments of about Shem Yoshai.
Can. Go ahead.
That's the first commandment to promise. Honor thy mother and thy father.
Can. Yeah, it's a commandment, honor thy mother and thy father. How you honor thy mother and my father, by when they reach that age, you see about them. And let me just bring, you know, a short, you know, just recently, no, this is a testimony, right? My mom died when I was 7 years, right? And my father never really grew up with me, you know. And I really grew up among brothers, right? So growing up among brothers, I've been among a lot of ageable, you know, a lot of elderly people, you know, in age. I have my uncle who was a ageable man, you know, and it have certain females who like my aunt and you know, one or two my sister. They was, you know, in a part of my life that they used to give me a little, you know, advice, and you know, and I was always rebellious because my mom died and I never had no father there with me. But when I grew up and I become a man and I get my twins, you know, my two daughters, and I wake up in the truth, you know. I think even before I was in the truth, I tell my father, I said Zah, because I think my uncle had passed and my father had come in and they had the funeral or whatever. I think it's a funeral, or you know, it's a week night, like this guy had 3 days before the burial or whatever it is, and there's you know, reason, everybody be reasoning and whatever. So I saw my father in about 5 to 7 years, or I think it was 7 or 8 years. I never see my father. So when I see my father, my other brother, who was about 2-3 years older than me, he was like moving emotional, like, you know, he don't care about his father, you know. But me now, I reached out to my father and said, Dad, you know something, I glad by that, but I glad that you make me the person I is today. He said, how my son, I wasn't there for you. Here now, but that will make me become a man, you know, by you living and you know, living your life, and you know, my mother died and gone. I become a man. I learned to become a man myself. Through the Lord and reading the Bible, the Lord teach me to become a man. So I become a very stern man in my household, and even when I'm on Akiams, So I know how to deal with that situation and how to act and how to react in every situation, you know. And I always try my best to be humble and meek in every, and even when I rebuke brothers sharply, I try my best, you know, to rebuke them in a sense that they ain't get emotional and still tell them still lucky, yeah. But the Lord tell me, you know, I had to rebuke you. If you feel offended, but hey, this is I treat you my love, because I want to get yourself right, because that's correct, and you through the Spirit, you know. So hey, you know, I still like, I just don't wanna, you know, get too much expounding. Go down into the next verse, Baba Kusha.
This is verse 5. It says, "Now she that is a widow indeed and desolate, trust in Yahweh, and continueth in supplications and prayers night and day."
So going back earlier, I was saying potato Judith, you know, beside the feast days and the Sabbath days, she was in a spirit of fasting and praying, you know, serving Yahweh Shimon Shai. So you have to supplicate yourself to Yahweh Shimon Shai. Continue in the doctrine, continue in the faith, continue in the truth, having the fear of the Lord, you know, praying day and night, you know, whenever time you feeling down, or you feeling for any pleasure, or feeling for any want or everything in anything Salakia, you know, you ask the Yahweh Shimon Shai, you know, to rebuke that spirit, you know, to give your spirit nothing wanting anything. Because here what it's in verse 6, go ahead.
Yeah, can. Verse 6 it say, "But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth."
So she that liveth in pleasure, going in that pleasure. So these women will know that if you want anything, you want a car, you want ice cream, you want clothes, you want this new wig, whatever it is you crave after or you lust after, that is pleasure. You know, you don't like how your man, you know, cheating you and he only studying to go and preach, he only studying the brothers, he only studying me, and you go in by your family to tell them your business so they can tell you something to please you, and they tell you the kind of things to please you for you to feel good. All that's going fucking off. You women ought to relax yourself and be in total subjection towards your husband, in total order, in total discipline. Other than that, you are not in this truth.
That mindset that you know you want a man spoil you, but just like you know anything that spoil no good.
That's right.
I'm not going and drink spoiled milk.
Yapa. Why in the meaning anybody are?
See, yeah, pleasure condition of enjoyment. It's a, yeah, it's a, yeah, enjoyment, delight, desire. It's a to please, give pleasure.
So any little Salakia, any pleasure you want, and a woman have a lot of pleasures in his life, and you watching these wicked YouTubers, hey, to any aquats who watching these YouTubers on Facebook, on YouTube and Facebook, you ought to not watch these things. You ought to take off these Instagram off of your phone, take off these TikTok off of your phone, take off all these bullshit apps off of your phone, because all these things is bringing a lust in your eyes and how you wanting pleasures, and your pleasure is to serve one of the Lord. By you serving one of the Lord, you know, that is please Yahweh Shimon Shai, and that's supposed to please you to serve one of the Lord. That is your pleasure. Serving one of the Lord is your pleasure. Honoring one of the Lord is your pleasure. You know? Don't feel that you higher than a man and you can tell a man, I want this and I want that. Take your fucking time. We are the kings in the place. You know? As I answer like for the language, but hey, that is the spirit of power of Shimon Shai. Because we are the kings. You ought to please us. If you would have asked tonight, that asked in the morning, past that well, you know, well, brothers don't know where I'm coming from. That if you want that chamber, you know, Bring that body here now. If a brother feeling to chamber, you have to give him what he require. You know, a virtuous woman is to hey, you know, and going back into what I was saying earlier on, they call in their wicked 2/3 family, you know, to find out, you know, for advice. And all they're saying is, girl, look for another man, girl, he make no sense, he study Lord, and the Lord coming and them going mad. Go and look for somebody who can help you build yourself and build your family and help you or put him in the court. And you get a girl making real money of a child support. Because I have about 3 child father and I collected 3 check. That wicked and fucking adulterous and sinful these wicked bitches is out here. These wicked Eves. You know? But if you go by a woman who's a virtuous woman, a sister, and you talk to your sister, you say, sister Mayan, I went and I realized my husband working hard. You know, I the one working hard. You know, as the brother say, what's the word? In the ancient days, how does it call us? As Baal? Baal.
Yeah, Baal
right.
Or Baal in the Hebrew.
Master. You know, so she talking about her master saying, you know, he work hard today. You know, when he come home, I'm gonna prepare some kind of, he like biscuit cake. You know, he like banana bread. You know, he like steamed fish. You know, so and I'll go and buy his best bottle of yayan and put it away for him. So when he come here, I close a cold glass of yayan from work. And I have his banana bread to serve him. And you know, I'm gonna give him a massage. And that's how you relate and telling your sister how you gonna do, what you gonna do to your master. So your sister gonna be like, yes, sis, you know, I am cleaning up the drawing room and making sure the room and them chairing them in order. And then you know, I might put on a movie and we go watch them brothers preaching or a spiritual movie to show to see any, because I like when he showed certain things through the movies, through the spirit that we're gonna come to pass and what Esau will be showing us, and we'll be seeing. I like that because I'll get myself prepared so when things come in I know how to move. So these are the things you should be talking with your sisters, your aquats. But yet you're talking about, I fed up for this, I fed up for he, I fed up. Let us show you how wicked this woman are. I'll draw the examples, you know, through the spirit and power of Shimon, try to show a virtuous woman from a wicked woman. A wicked woman will go out to see wicked 2/3 family for pleasure in words. In wicked words, to continue in her wicked ways, being disobedient. But a virtuous woman will call her a virtuous aquat sister to find out, you know, how to make a sponge cake for her husband. You know, how she make that fruit punch, you know, shake that fruit shake, whatever it is, or you know, how she steam the fish. I want to do it the same way how you do it for my husband, and that you require to do things for your king, not being a bitch about everything. You know, continue scripture like Salakia. You know, there's a spirit of fire about right?
Yeah, can. Yeah, it's verse 7. It say, and these things give in charge that they may be blameless.
Can so go back to verse 2. For a woman, go back to verse 2. For you're just true, you know what I'm talking, right? Baba Kusha to water.
Yeah, can.
It say the elder woman as mothers and young as sisters with all purity. So a woman being all sisters and you know you being pure.
Can.
You know, a woman show honor to a widow. You know, and it good to come back, you know, to put it into seeing about your children as a widow, making sure your children grow up respectable and in an order. Everything like Yahweh Shimon said, everything that decent in that order, they become virtuous women and they become a righteous man. Going up to verse 5 now, you know, it's saying that you know that she
Giving
she continue
supplications
in
and-
praying, continue, you know, in the heritage, continue having the fear of the Lord and holding your feast days, your Sabbath days, making sure that your house in order pertaining to the laws of the Lord. You know, you're living by the laws of Yahweh Hashem Yoshai. You ain't casting away your heritage. To verse 6 now, it say, but she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. So this going back into, you know, all the things you lusting after. All these things you know, coming against your husband for, and thinking in your mind that you want pleasure. But if you want pleasure, is that you really looking for?
That's the Arak. When it say verse 7, it say, and these things give in charge that they may be blameless. As I say, that's now when they go back to verse 2, all these things they do in all your, say like you obeying laws, statutes and commandments, you're teaching the kids to do the right thing, right? You ain't going about anybody busybody matter and stuff. Simple as that, right? You can be blameless in the sight of these wicked two-thirds and a man on too. Simple as that. They can't say, hey, well, she like this and she like that. They can't say that.
And that's so special way to say it, because when our brother go by and our brother and his wife go by another brother and his wife, our brother wife might be, you know, a little shaky, and another brother wife will be virtuous. She real obedient and, you know, respectable, and she blameless. So that brother wife who not really stable, she shaky, will watch how the woman being virtuous, and the virtuous woman will teach the shaky woman to be virtuous. So while she is being weak, our brother virtuous wife will, because she will see how she acting and seeing about the household and everything in order, and how she husband is dealing with she, and how they have understanding in their conversation, and they come to a conclusion and the matter quick, you know, being respectable and showing love towards each other and fearing the Lord. She ought to want that. You ought to want that same relationship that Akiam and Akwat having, that righteous, you know, and respectable and loving and fearing the Lord and having faith and relationship, you know, and that go build your empire by you being a virtuous woman and serving your king. That will help out. You come like you're helping out your king spiritually, because he's a pillar of rest. You know a big stone pillow, when you rest your head on it, you're getting a headache, which is stress. You're not stressing out a man of the Lord. And a lot of you want to stress out the man of the Lord. You know? You ought to relax yourself, you know, and be virtuous woman, because it's gonna be too late that you will get put to death. You know? So let me close up this video by the Spirit of power, you know, going down into the meaning, the last verse, into verse 8, going back into the name of the video, you know, a woman and a man is to keep their house in order and not be an infidel. So go down into the precept of Babakusha.
Yeah, this is 1 Timothy 5, and I reach in verse 8. It say, but if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own household, he had denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
So if you keep your house in order, if you ain't keep your house in order, or you listen to this Akiams and Akwats, men of the Lord who don't want to go out and get it and bring forth an income in your household, you know, I want to be lazy, I want to lean on mommy money and daddy money, that is off. Go and by the sweat of your face, you know, you go and get it, you know, you drill. If it's at 8 to 3 and 9 to 5, you know, at 3 to 3, wherever it is, guy working at 3 to 3 right now, 3 in the evening till 3 in the morning, you know. That'll show you how you had to be, you know. You work from Monday to Saturday, or Monday to Sunday, or Monday to Friday. You still pour out some days for the week. But most important, you know, you're being physically, you're being active. You know, you're being active to bring forth our income as we being spiritually active by serving Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, laboring for Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, pushing the works of Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, because the Lord said He going as a far journey and leave us in charge of His business to go and preach the kingdom of heaven and cast out, you know, curses to these heathens and Babylon, and let 2/3 know if they repent, they will get put to death, you know. So the Lord tell me, hey, go and tell Israel, cry out loud and spare none. Show my people their transgression and Israel their sins. And I think it's Israel or Jacob, their transgression. So that's what the Lord says to do, to go and warn the people. To go and warn them, as He said, Jeremiah, He said, He said Noah, you know, He said Jonah, you know. The Lord said, hey, the Lord said Lot. No, but it's really is Abraham really come to Lot and tell Lot, hey, the Lord would not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah to flee. And what Lot do? You know, Lot was obedient. You know, he was disciplined. He take instructions. And got to be disciplined is to take instruction. Because discipline is love. And what is love? Following the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Hashem Yoshai, which He instruct you to do. You know? So go down into the meaning of infidel, and we will close up this video. You know, hey, all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yoshai. I know right now that it heat up in His spirit. Because you know why? It have niggas, you know, it's lazy. They are sluggard. You know? They want to go and get, and these females, you know, they don't want to serve a man of the Lord. How they supposed to serve a man of the Lord? For a man of the Lord, making a good come, and a woman, you know, come towards him, and you know, and she cleaving onto him, you know, and he bring her on to be his wife. That ought to be his wife. You can't come against that. That means you nothing is truth. You know, you're an infidel. If you're not seeing about your household and your children, so like, yeah, if you're not seeing about your children and making sure that they grow up in the right way, at the right track, you know, and making sure everything in order, your daughter becoming a virtuous woman, your son becoming a king, you know, then you're going off if you're doing that. Making sure and growing them up and teaching them the laws, all the commandments. You're teaching them the 10 commandments. You go into the book of Exodus 20 and you have it right down. You have it on our chat and you have them learning it every day. You have them praying in the morning, evening, and night. And even tell them in their mind, meditate on Yahweh Hashem Yoshai and the fear of the Lord. You know? Always at the fear of the Lord, the King of the universe. Let's know that He's our Redeemer. He's our Deliverer. He exists. Yahweh Hashem Yoshai Mashiach. You know? Anytime you book about a man of the Lord, then you nothing is truth. Anytime you don't like how a man of the Lord dealing with you, then you nothing is truth. If you don't have shame face, you know, you nothing is truth. You know? So you woman ought to get yourself right or end up like Lot's wife, studying pleasure. Going back into the scripture where it says, if she live within pleasure, she live within she go back in the scripture, so like, yeah, I don't want to butcher it. She did one and to what you know, it say, but she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth, and never go on Lot's wife. She will live in pleasure in fucking Sodom and Gomorrah. And what the Lord do? The Lord makes she turn because as she study in the lust, as she form her lust and she flesh. But she said to please she husband, that was she pleasure. To serve she husband and keep she head forward. That alone was pleasing by that person please her by listening to her husband and keeping her head forward. That is pleasing her. You know? Because if she wasn't, you know, wanted lust and vanity of this world, you know, should have never turned back. But the Lord say, hey, they that love the world and the things of the world, the love of the Father is not in them. So she never did love of the Father in her, and neither did love her husband. She didn't love Lot. If she didn't love Lot, she would have pleased Lot by keeping her head straight. You know? Because that would have pleased she. That is her pleasure. By serving the men of the Lord, by being obedient, by being disciplined, by being a good listener and a good learner. You know, when she get instructed, she do what she was instructed. Being a servant. The meaning of a woman is servant. You know, we as a man are the Lord, also the Lord's servant, also the Lord's friend. So we was instructed to go and prophesy and do the works. Continue feeding the Lord's sheep. You know? So go down the meaning of infidel and we'll close it. Should the spirit and power you have a shine.
Gun. Yeah, it's a infidel. It's a unfaithful.
Plate now. Go up on the next upon plate. Baba Kusha. Salakia.
Infidel. Etymology. First attested 1460, from Middle French infidele, from Latin infidelis, from in plus fidelis. Adjective. Infidel. Rejecting a specific religion. Of. Characteristic of.
Pause. So wait it say? Relax, Baba Kusha.
It's a rejecting a specific religion.
So you're rejecting the statues of Yahweh Shai, your heritage. Your heritage. You're rejecting your heritage. You're rejecting the faith of Yahweh Shai. You're rejecting the knowledge of the Lord. You're rejecting the you come like you don't have the fear of the Lord in you. You know? To reject the Lord laws, statutes and commandments is to reject the Lord, because you don't listen in the word of the Lord. You don't take any instructions. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's or relating to unbelievers.
So you're an unbeliever. You do not believe in this truth. You do not believe when I continue in the video. Keep your house in order or be an infidel. An infidel go back to a non-believer. So you're a non-believer and play like you in the street. Shalom, shalom. And you men who not seeing about their household and making sure that grocery buy, you know, market stuff buy, you know, that bills pay, you know. You not seeing about your household. You not being a king and making sure your empire in order. You know. Making sure your house in order. The Lord said make sure a man keep your house in order. And your house symbolizing all these nations and even the loins, the nations who can come through your loins, where you gonna be ruling over. That so spiritually that going back to the house. That's why you also keep your house in order, because you're gonna be a king ruling over nations. So how you can be a king ruling over nations, you can't even say about a household. You can't even rule over your household. Go ahead.
That's the other thing. Might have seen the older heads they say that practice home to go abroad. Ooh. So if we don't practice at home, right? How we can put on that kingship, that rulership mentality?
Well, reach the kingdom of heaven.
Can.
So that means you're not an elect.
Can.
That means you're not a man of the Lord, because you're a non-believer. But a believer will keep his house in order and make sure everything in check. Why that? Some more to go down a little one or two again and see what it says.
Oh well, in the online etymology app it say unfaithful, it's not to be trusted, it's unbelieving.
Not to be trusted, not to be trusted. It's a trap, it's a snare. Because you're playing like, you know, shalom, your head covered, you have on dress, shalom, shalom, but deep down you're wicked. He's an unbeliever. You know? Going back to the scripture, I know if you can remember it, Brother Lamar, we close that scripture for a woman, you guys trapped by the snares and bands. It a woman destroy kings. You know, don't put the strength onto a woman for a woman destroy kings. And I also about another one, I think it's in Ecclesiastes, where it say don't put your trust in a woman, because there's a snare and trap and snare something like that.
Can.
That's all Baba Kusha. Let me see it. Let me see your phone at Baba Kusha. Can. That's all. That one in Ecclesiastes 7. Let me see if I find it. Baba Kusha. Yeah, Baba Shimon. Let me find the scripture.
37, Ecclesiastes, somewhere around there.
That's the one. Nah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Ecclesiasticus yeah. Or Ecclesiastes. Yeah, that's Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 7 from one going on here. I not knock, you know.
That's me.
Yeah, like small thing, you know, all our ways, you know, the mind we in his flesh, you know, and also spirit on the left hand side trying to, you know, show off the lesson. But hey, yeah, about Shimon Shai. It's say for woman destroy kings, I think no, it's like yeah, okay. I get. This is the book of Ecclesiastes. Hey, all praise to Yahweh Shimon Shai. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 6. It says, and I found more better than that, the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as band, whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be kept by her. So going back into what the brother was going on into, where it say not to be trust, you know, not to be trust. So the way it say here, you know, that she mind it snares and nets, so she full of tricksters. It's tricksters. These women who's born in Shalom, they full of tricks. And when they're done, they pointing out and saying, yeah, he in the back there, he saying he's an Israelite and green beard, and they sell out for 30% silver like Judas. You know, they sell you out to Esau. You know, it's a non-believer. That with these women are, and these men who want to see about their household and become and they want to be a king. It's a one who does not believe in religion, you know. So hey, are we going on to hour, you know, and going to 15 minutes? Hey, through the spirit and power, our Shimon Shai, you know, we're going to pick up our net now. You know, so we're going to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rekakwadash. You know, double honors to the apostles, you know, mainly are the apostles, who, you know, who bring forth this truth through the spirit and power, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, who the Lord using, you know, to spread the gospel, you know, through the you know, about Bevins, you know, and King Masha, you know, and who again asked Baba Kusha, High Priest Yaikwab, you know, and High Priest Arya, you know. These is the apostles in the former days are old, and now is Apostle Taha, Apostle Gaba, Araka, Arya Ramla, and the elders, you know, like you know, Brother Howard, Brother Kazak, you know, Brother Adawan Gaba, you know, Brother Ella Kazak, you know, Ella Manatazakba, Ella Manatazakba, you know, we have a understanding that, you know, through the spirit that, you know, I meet him through comments, and, you know, I train that here, you know, that Ella in spirit give me inspiration in his truth to do more videos, you know, because he's always be posting up my videos, and hey, I say, you know, Yahweh Shimon Shai to water that my word could spread around the Arataza and more sisters and brothers could take heed. So, you know, this video is edifying, you know, and hey, salutations, you know, to the this truth, boy. We are saying all praise to Yahweh Shimon Shai, so we double honors again to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, you know, salutation to the Akiams who pushing this work. Salutation, brothers, that they go out in the highways and byways, push the work. We almost out of here. You know, we living in the time when, you know, the Lord coming to redeem us out of Babylon. For 1 hour will be her judgment. You know, she can get destroyed by thermal nuclear fire. to the aquats. Get yourself right, be disciplined, be that virtuous woman. Going back into the scripture, skin saved by childbearing. If she continue in the faith, being continuing in the faith is being continued in the laws and what your husband instruct you to do, being his servant. Same how we serve when you have about Shimon Shai, you have to serve your husband. So hope this video was edifying through the spirit of power about Shimon Shai. You know, I'll try expounding in this video. You know, we out in the sea, so you know, we really get to do this video, you know, properly, like put any precepts together. But you have about Shimon Shai, you know, he put it together through the spirit, you know, that we go down into the meaning and words, most importantly, and break it down through the spirit and power about Shimon Shai. So, you know, hope this video is edifying. Shalom, shalom, shalom.